And gentlemen, in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my Week 3 NFL reaction. Got plenty to talk about. Later this week, I'm going to be predicting the NBA 2024 to 2025 season, and then later will be a video with me predicting the 2024 MLB playoffs. But for today's video, we're just going to dive straight in to the NFL Week 3. We're going to be analyzing the games, giving my reactions to the games, and then I'm going to give you my Pulse Metrics Performance of the Week. Couple disclaimers as usual. If you disagree with anything I say, please let me know down in the comments what you agree, what you change, what you disagree with, who is your Performance of the Week maybe, just anything. I want to hear your guys' voice on stuff. I want to hear your guys' critique. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. Cue the intro. Alright, we're going to dive right into Thursday Night Football, starting with the Jets blowing out the Patriots to bits. And I'm sorry to all of you guys, but Jacoby Brissett is not good. 12 completions out of 18 attempts, 98 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Nobody could really run the ball besides Antonio Gibson, who I guess had an okay game, 5 for 29. Ramondre Stevenson, 6 for 23. I like that little 1-2 combo that you guys have going on right there, but I just don't think it's enough. And as for receiving, I mean, outside of Demario Douglas, you guys really just couldn't get anything going. As for the defense, when you really think about it, they didn't really do that bad. They had a couple sacks, but I mean, it just like fell off in the fourth quarter, and that's why the Jets won. Now looking at New York, Aaron Rodgers nearly perfect, 27 for 35, 281, 2 touchdowns, no pick at a 127.25 QB rating. And as for rushing, Braylon Allen 11 for 55. Breece Hall, 16 for 54. He's had the score, and I really do love this 1-2 combo that you guys have going on with Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. And as for receiving, Allen Lazard, Garrett Wilson had the score. Garrett Wilson 5 for 33. Allen Lazard 3 for 48. And but overall, your leading receiver was Allen Lazard. Mike Williams got involved a little bit. Tyler Conklin got involved a lot. He had the most yards. And as for defense, you guys were able to sack Jacoby Brissett 7 times, and have a forced fumble on him. So, congrats to you, New York. You guys absolutely look amazing. All right, and now we're going to take a look at the Colts beating the Bears barely. I mean, if the Bears had scored a touchdown, they would have won. But overall, Caleb Williams, 52 pass attempts, 33 of those were completed. I'm sorry to you Colts fans, but Caleb Williams looked really, really good. Besides the 2 ugly interceptions, 363 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns, along with 8 rushing yards. Caleb Williams looked a lot better than he did the past couple weeks, but I'm sorry to say, you guys have to fix your running game. Like, you have to. 13 attempts for 20 yards. DeAndre Swift, this is not the man that I saw him in Philadelphia. And as for receiving, Rome Odunze, 6 receptions for 112 yards and a score. Cole Kmet, 10 receptions for 97 yards and a score. DJ Moore had 78 yards. Rashawn Johnson even had 32 receiving yards. And you guys were really able to pick off Anthony Richardson twice. Sack him a couple times. Well, mainly because, Anthony Richardson's a good scrambler. But overall, yep, way better game played by Chicago. And you guys honestly almost won this game. Taking a look at the Colts now, Anthony Richardson had a pretty bad day. 10 for 20, 167, no touchdowns, 2 picks. I'm sorry, Anthony Richardson is just does not look good as passing. Rushing, he looks a lot better than actual passing. Jonathan Taylor absolutely mauled the Bears on the ground. 23 attempts for 110 yards and 2 scores. Trey Sherman also had a score. And as for receiving, you guys really just couldn't get anything going. Pittman, 4 for 36. Alec Pierce, 1 for 44. And the defense, besides Jalen Jones had picked off Caleb Williams twice, you guys were able to sack him a couple times. Besides that, the defenses, this game got absolutely rocked, and it was an exciting game, but yikes. All right, next up we have the Steelers beating the Chargers 20-10, and I have to say, if this was Russell Wilson, you guys would not be 3-0. I mean, Justin Fields, like the situation he was with in Chicago, that was a bad situation. All he needs is a good coach. All he needed was Mike Tomlin to just turn his career around. And at the Chargers, Taylor Heinicke had to come in because Justin Herbert eventually did get hurt. Justin Herbert, 12 for 18, 125, a touchdown. Had a 111.67 passer rating. Taylor Heinicke, 2 completions out of 2 attempts, 24 yards, no touchdown, no picks. Obviously he didn't play for that long. Neither did either of those two. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards had a pretty underwhelming day on the ground. Dobbins 15 for 44, Gus Edwards 3 for 9. Receiving was led by Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey, who continue to be an absolute unstoppable 1-2 combo. I don't know what's going on with Josh Palmer, but he just hasn't been involved at all lately. Ladd McConkey 3 for 44, Quentin Johnston 2 for 44, and he had the score. Defense was only able to sack him twice, and he was able to pick him off, though. But just overall, you guys kind of got rocked on defense. At the Steelers now, Justin Fields had a way better day passing. He was not scared to throw the ball as much as he was the previous weeks. 25 for 32, 245 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Rushing, actually, Cordell Patterson got involved a little bit. Justin Fields had the rushing touchdown, but Najee Harris, 18 attempts, 70 yards. Calvin Austin, the third, 4 receptions for 95. He had the score. George Pickens, 5 for 57. You guys really got a lot of people involved in passing, and I give a lot of credit to you. For defense, you guys were able to sack him a couple times. Actually, a few times, actually. Nate Herbig actually had 2 sacks. And TJ Watt, no shocker, he had a sack too. Just overall, Steelers, you guys are looking good. Keep up the good work. Right now, we have the ugliest game I've ever seen. We have the Eagles beating the Saints barely by field goal, 15-12. And the thing is, I really don't want to be biased here, but I'm saying, like, the Saints were the hottest team in football at the point. If the Eagles can just go in and beat the Saints without Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson, Mekhi Becton, and A.J. Brown, then just imagine what we're going to do against the Bucs. Looking at the game stats, Jalen Hurts, 29 for 38. Besides an ugly pick, really had a great day passing, 311 passing yards. And as well as 8 attempts for 25 yards. Saquon Barkley, 17 for $150 on the ground, 2 scores. Dallas Goedert really lit it up on the ground, averaging 17 yards per catch, 10 receptions for 170 yards. Really should have had a score. Devontae Smith, I really hope he's okay with the concussion. 7 for 79, still had a pretty good game. Barkley actually had 4 receptions too. And the defense played really well. Reed Blankenship obviously had the pick to shut the game down. Quinyon Mitchell really had some really great passes defended. Jalen Carter had a great day. 3 tackles. And Jordan Davis obviously had the sack. And I would be running for my life if a 6'8", over 300-pound man was just charging at me. But overall, great day on defense for Eagles. Offense, you guys got to clean some things up. Taking a look at the Saints, Derek Carr kind of reverted back to his old self, only having 142 passing yards on the ground, mainly because our DBs are insane. A touchdown, a pick. Alvin Kamara did not really look like himself, only averaging 3.346 yards a carry, having no touchdowns. Receiving, Rashid Shaheed didn't even get a single reception because he was locked down the entire game by Quinyon Mitchell. Alvin Kamara, 3 for 40. Chris Olave did have the score. And you guys, honestly, were able to pick off Hurts a lot. And just, I don't know what our offensive line was doing. Tyrann Mathieu had the interception. But overall, just that was a very ugly game. I hope A.J. Brown comes back in week 4 so we can clean some stuff up on offense. Saints, honestly, good luck to you. We didn't do you guys any favors by losing the Falcons, but good on you, mate. Now we have the Packers beating the Titans, absolutely mauling the Titans, and as I said at the beginning, before the draft, I don't know if you guys saw my video, but at the beginning of the draft, I said that Will Levis is just not the guy, and honestly, he's proving that to us right now. Starting with the Packers, Malik Willis was nearly perfect passing, 13 for 19, 202 yards, a touchdown, no picks, also 6 attempts for 73 rushing yards, and he also had a score. Josh Jacobs didn't have a very productive day, 14 for 43. Emmanuel Wilson, 12 for 50. You guys had overall just a very productive day on the ground. As for passing, Christian Watson, 2 for 67. He was your lead receiver. Jaden Reed, 4 for 50. Emmanuel Wilson had the receiving touchdown. And once again, the terrible 2 of Xavier McKinney and Jair Alexander, you guys were able to have the picks and were able to sack Will Levis like 4, 6, 7 times. And your kicker was 3 for 3 on the night. And overall, just very productive day from the Packers offense. Will Levis does not look good at all. 26 for 34, 260, 2 touchdowns, 2 very ugly picks. Like one time he'll be making the most beautiful pass ever, and another time he'll throw the worst pass ever and it'll be picked. You guys could not get anything going on the ground. Tyjae Spears, 2 for 7. Tony Pollard, 6 for 14. Receiving was actually led by DeAndre Hopkins, 6 receptions for 73 yards. He had a score. Nick Vannett, 2 for 9 and a score. Calvin Ridley, only 1 reception for 9 yards. Couldn't get anything going. You guys were only able to sack Malik Willis 3 times. Just, I don't know. I would sound the alarm if I were Tennessee. All right, and now we have the Vikings absolutely blowing out the Texans, and I have an apology to issue. Sam Darnold, I apologize to you, my friend. I did not believe in you going into the season, but you've turned the Vikings into actual contenders. It looks like all you needed was some good coaching, and now you have good coaching, so you are, as much as I don't want to say it, you are unfortunately very, very good. That and you have Justin Jefferson as your receiver. But still, good luck to you. Starting with the Texans offense, C.J. Stroud kind of got rocked. 20 for 31, 215, a touchdown, 2 picks. The Vikings defense is looking insane. Davis Mills even came in for a little bit. And this run game is nothing without Joe Mixon. I'm sorry to say. Receiving actually was not as non-productive as you might have thought. Stephon, 10 for 97. Tank Dell, 5 for 62. Nico Collins continues to prove why he's that number 1 receiver on that team. Cam Akers actually had the receiving touchdown. The defense just could not stop Sam Darnold in that offense at all. I mean, sure, they had a couple sacks, but that was basically it. At the Vikings offense, Sam Darnold, 17 for 28, 181, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Sam Darnold looks absolutely amazing right now. As I just said, I apologize to him. Aaron Jones had a very productive day on the ground and receiving. Aaron Jones, 19 for 102, also 5 for 46 and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson just continues to look great. 6 for 81 and a touchdown. Jalen Naylor had a score. Johnny Mudd, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He had a score too. Kuma Hill had a pick. You guys overall had 2 picks. You guys were sacking C.J. Stroud from left, from right. And yeah, I'm just baffled by how good this Vikings team is doing right now. But the only question is, can you guys keep it up? That is the question. Now we've got the Giants beating the Browns. I'm sorry, but the Browns actually might be the worst team in football right now. Well, at least the way they look. Not the Titans, just the way the Browns look. They just do not look good at all. I'm sorry. Looking at the Giants, Daniel Jones had a great day. 24 for 34, 236, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He's actually been looking really great, and I will say Malik Neighbors might actually save his career. 8 for 78, 2 scores. It seems like all Daniel Jones really needed was a good receiver. That's all he really needed. Devin Singletary also had a touchdown. Like, the Giants team, like, I'm going to have to see one more week. But if Danny Dimes has another game like this, I will put on the suit again, and I will apologize to Danny Dimes. Looking at Deshaun Watson, 21 for 37, 196. Besides the two touchdowns, he did not look good. This rushing team is nothing without Nick Chubb. Amari Cooper actually had the 2 scores. He had a very productive day on defense. And you guys are just nothing without Myles Garrett on defense, because he got hurt mid-game and he needed to come out apparently with a foot injury. But just, again, much like the Titans, I would sound the alarm if I were the Browns. Now we have the Broncos blowing out the Buccaneers. And I called this one. I called an upset. The Broncos were going to turn it around, and they were going to beat the fraud Buccaneers, and they did. Look what happened right here. Bo Nix, even though he didn't throw much, he had a rushing touchdown. 47 rushing yards, 216 passing yards. He shredded the Buccaneers defense. Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, even though he had a touchdown, you guys are cooked. That running game is cooked. Cortland Sutton, 7 for 68, had a very productive day receiving. It's just the defense that really showed up. You got Brandon Jones was able to pick off Baker Mayfield. Just the Broncos, you guys looked so much better than you did the previous week. All right, and now looking at the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield had a very bad day on the ground. In the air, 25 for 33, only 163, a touchdown and a pick. The running game, besides Bucky Irving, Rashad White just does not look like the man he was last year. Receiving, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer didn't really have a reception. But overall, Chris Godwin continues to look amazing the start of this season. You guys weren't able to pick off or sack Bo Nix. Just your defense without Antoine Winfield Jr. And I know he's going to be out next week versus us. I don't want to sound biased, but the Buccaneers, you guys are going to get destroyed by us. If you can let up 26, if you can get destroyed by the Broncos, then just imagine what a fully healthy Eagles offense is going to be. Even though we're not going to be fully healthy, you guys are still gonna get cooked. I don't want to sound biased or anything, but it's just the truth. Now we have the Seahawks blowing the Dolphins to bits, and it's crazy. At this time, the Dolphins scored 70, but now they're only scoring 3, and it's just amazing to me how bad Skylar Thompson is. 13 for 19, only 107. Didn't have a single touchdown. Tim Boyle had to come in the game because he was doing so bad. Rushing, they could not get anything going. Receiving, Tyreek Hill couldn't get anything going. Just nobody could get anything going on offense or defense. It's just, without a quarterback, this Dolphins team is garbage. At the Seahawks, and even though you guys did win, you guys did blow them to bits, Geno Smith just did not have a very good day. 26 for 34, 289. A touchdown and 2 picks. Zach Charbonnet had 2 scores, 18 for 91. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 3 for 39. DK Metcalf just continues to look amazing. And for this defense, you guys just keep on improving. And even though they didn't have any picks, this terrible 2 of Devin Witherspoon and Julian Love continues to look dominant. Just hands down, you guys are looking great so far. Alright guys, please let me know down in the comments if I'm reading this right, but the Panthers won a game. And Andy Dalton looked like prime Tom Brady, 26 for 37, 319, 3 touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard, 21 for 114. Miles Sanders had a touchdown. Receiving, Jonathan Mingo had 18 yards. Deontay Johnson had 122 yards. Chuba Hubbard had a score. Adam Thielen had a score. I mean, so that's it. Like, the entire problem was just Bryce Young. Like, Bryce Young's career is cooked. As much as I don't want to say it, Bryce Young's career really is cooked. And I really do believe that the entire problem was Bryce Young. As for the Raiders, Gardner Minshew converted back to his old self, 18 for 28, 214, a touchdown, and a pick. Had a couple yards rushing, but just that whole entire rushing game looks absolutely horrible. Brock Bowers just continues to be great. Jacoby Myers had a score. Devontae Adams couldn't get anything going. The defense couldn't get anything going. Summing this all up, the Panthers, you guys look great, and if I were you, I would just continue to put Andy Dalton because it seems like the problem was Bryce Young. Bryce Young is not a good quarterback at all. And now we have the Ravens barely beating the Cowboys. You guys had a 28-6 lead. You guys almost blew it, and you guys almost became the laughingstock of the entire league. Lamar Jackson, if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry absolutely having to do everything themselves, you guys would not have won. Lamar Jackson almost perfect, 12 for 15, 182, a touchdown, had a 140 QBR. Derrick Henry just looked absolutely amazing. Derrick Henry, 25 for 151, 2 tutties. Lamar Jackson had a tutty on the ground, 87 yards. Isaiah Likely just didn't have a good day. Neither did Mark Andrews. Rashad Bateman had the score, and your defense at the end just kind of broke down. You guys almost lost this game. As for passing, Dak Prescott, oh my goodness, did not have a good day. Passing percentage-wise, only 28 for 51, 379, 2 scores. Yeah, Kevontae Turpin didn't get anything going on the ground. You guys could not get anything going on the ground. CeeDee Lamb, 4 for 67. I'm sorry, CeeDee Lamb just continues to just look very just not good. Jake Ferguson, 6 for 95, and that defense just couldn't generate any pressure. They didn't sack Lamar. They didn't pick Lamar off. Your defense is not doing well, and Dallas is exactly what I thought they were going to be this year. All right, and now we have the 49ers losing to the Rams, and this was by far the best Eagles game of the year, and we did not even play in it. Brock Purdy did not look horrible. He still looked pretty good, nearly perfect. 292, 3 scores. Had a couple yards, quite a few yards rushing. Jordan Mason looked really good. Defense just could not stop the Rams. Receiving, that receiving core is not really good without Deebo Samuel, although Jawan Jennings did have a good day on the ground. Rams, passing Matthew Stafford, 16 for 25, 221, and a score, no picks. Kyren Williams had an absolute insane day rushing and receiving, 2 for 27 and a score, 24 for 89 and a score. This defense just couldn't generate any pressure. And you guys, the Rams and the 49ers, you guys just, don't look as good as you guys were last season. Next up, we got the Lions barely beating the Cardinals by a touchdown. This was a pretty ugly game. Jared Goff, 18 for 23, 199, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. You guys have the best running combo in the entire league. David Montgomery, 23 for 105 and a score. Jahmyr Gibbs, 16 for 83. Also had a receiving touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 receptions for 75 yards and a touchdown. I already mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs. Kirby Joseph was able to pick off Kyler Murray. Aiden Hutchinson had a sack. He continues to lead the league. Kyler Murray, 21 for 34, 207, a touchdown and a pick. Did not look as good as he did last week. James Conner couldn't really get anything going. rushing and receiving. Marvin Harrison Jr. just continues to look amazing. And the defense was able to sack him a couple times. But overall, both of the defenses were about the same. Just overall, the Detroit offense has got to clean some stuff up. Other than that, they looked pretty good this game. And now we have the Chiefs beating the Falcons. This was an excellent game. But just, I got to say one thing. Kelce does not look good at all. He really does not. His mind is at a completely different place with Taylor. Rashee Rice, 12 for 110. A score. Juju Smith-Schuster even had a score. Patrick Mahomes, 26 for 39, 217, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He continues to just not look as good. Rushing, Carson Steele looked really great, 17 for 72. As for the defense, besides Chamari Connor, besides his interception, you guys couldn't get really anything going on defense, which will lead us to the Kirk Cousins-led offense, 20 for 29, 230, a score, a pick. Bijan Robinson, 16 for 31. He's looked really good these past couple games. Tyler Algier, or Al-Ajir, or however you pronounce it, 32 yards too. Bijan Robinson, 2 for 21. He had a couple receiving. He had a couple catches. Drake London, 6 for 67, continues to look great. And this defense couldn't really generate any pressure. Justin Simmons had the pick, but you guys just couldn't really generate any pressure on Mahomes, and that's why you guys lost. All right, and now the Jaguars have gotten absolutely destroyed by the Bills. Jacksonville, you guys look horrible. I'm sorry. You guys look like garbage. As much as I don't want to say it. Trevor Lawrence, he just does not look confident out there at all. Neither does Travis Etienne, who did not have a bad day at all. But just overall, Brenton Strange, he had a touchdown over Travis Etienne and Brian Thomas. Like, the offense just looks so mid. It's not even funny. You guys couldn't generate any pressure on offense. Or defense. Josh Allen looked absolutely insane. He was nearly perfect, only incompleted 7 pass attempts, 263 yards, 4 touchdowns, and this was all in the first half. Ray Davis had a score. James Cook had a score. Rushing. Receiving, Khalil Shakir had a score. Keon Coleman had a score. Dalton Kincaid had a score. Ty Johnson had a score. Von Miller had a sack. Javon Solomon had a sack. Casey Toohill had a sack. AJ Epinesa had a sack. Jamarcus Ingram had a sack. This defense looked great. Offense looked great. The Bills might be the best team in the AFC right now. Not even kidding. Now we have the Commanders beating the Bengals. Bengals falling 0-3. Bengals, they do not look great at all. They might miss out on the playoffs. Jaden Daniels, 21 for 23, only incompleted twice, was literally, I would say, literally perfect. 254 for 2 scores. Had a rushing touchdown as well. Austin Eckler had a rushing touchdown. Brian Robinson Jr. had a rushing touchdown. Zach Ertz had 5 receptions. Terry McLaurin looked absolutely insane. The defense could not really get anything going, though, which will lead us to the Bengals offense. Burrow, 29 for 38, 324, 3 touchdowns. Looked like prime Joe Burrow. Zach Moss had a score. It's just... and Jamar Chase looked absolutely insane, 6 for 118 and 2 touchdowns. It's just the defense. Your guys' defense does not look good. Trey Hendrickson had a sack, but that was just pretty much it. I mean, Bengals have got to clean some stuff up, or you guys are going to miss out on the playoffs again. Guys, that is going to do it for my Week 3 NFL reactions. But before we go, I do have to give out my Postmetrics Performance of the Week. And it was none other than my boy Saquon Barkley. He looked absolutely insane. I mean, he basically put the game away. He was the entire reason that we won that game. Well, him and Hurts, but just Saquon just continues to look great, and if he keeps this up, he could win the Offensive Player of the Year. Not even kidding. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you already know how to show support. Please make sure to leave a like on this video, and make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 600 subscribers right now. Without further ado, I'll see y'all guys the next time I upload. Peace.